Footy's back. G'day, I'm Justin Lepich. Wait, no, I'm not. Well, am I? I am very ginger. I am also Jaymz Clements. Welcome to the AFL Today Show. We're here to make footy a little bit more fun, aren't we? It's the Thursday team show. It's my favourite show, Stats Boy. It really is, because we go through it all, we talk about the games, it's sick, everything's feeling good, then it goes all wonky. Anyway, this is the greatest game in the world. It's AFL Footy. Joining me, of course, is local weirdo Footy Nuff, AFL expert, some might call him, including his mum and dad. It's the Stats Boy, Lee McAllion.
As always, I thought you were going to say it's your favourite show because Alex isn't on it, but who is your favourite ginger player of all time? That's what you were talking about. Justin Lepich is probably up there. Probably a Carlton player, maybe current Carlton player.
Might be Matty Cottrell. Just
Cottrell,
saying.
yeah.
Love
yeah.
you, Cotters.
Yeah.
Love you, Cotters. Anyway, we're going to cover off a lot of stuff today, so let's get into it. I mean, you got to subscribe to our YouTube channel before anything else.
Yes.
You also got to star, like, subscribe, follow AFL Today across all the socials. Now that's done, let's get into it. Footy's back, round 16.
Yes.
It's only a third of the season left, Stats Boy.
I know. But we still got finals. It's all good. Plenty of time.
Well, you don't have
I don't have finals. Am I allowed to be on the show if my team's only finals? Oh, all right. That's
You
all
dropped. Let's do it. Let's do some news before we get into the teams and the games. Andrew Gillen-Dillon can't afford a haircut, but he's investigating interest and would love a state of origin rep game for the AFL.
I saw that before. It is very loose, but they asked him about it, and he's like, I would love a bit of state of origin. I was like, good, because every time Gil was asked about it, he sort of shut it down. Whereas Andrew Dillon said he's going to investigate with the players and things like that. It'd be awesome. They had 90,000 at the G last night for state of origin NRL, obviously. Imagine the AFL. You'd be packing it out easy.
Would you?
Ooh, I think so. You don't think so?
Better investigate it.
Yeah, yeah. You don't think so?
Seriously, if Andrew Gillen-Dillon just wants to give me like a bunch of money, I'll invest. I'll just start asking punters on the street, should we have state of origin? They're like, yeah, Jim,
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, yeah, all right, let's do it. Hey, Andrew Dillon, what's going on, man? I've got all my money. Everybody wants it. Just do it. He's
just
like,
do it.
all right, Jim, sick. I'm like, off we go. It is always fun because state of origin for league, like, it just
been around
works.
for ages, yeah.
It just works.
Yep.
And it doesn't quite seem as though in a very long NRL season that the queries, the qualms, we've always got to worry about injuries during the state of origin. It's not quite as hysterical, I think, as the AFL.
yeah.
So, we couldn't possibly, they could get injured. The league dude's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's more probably, patriotic for their states compared to Victoria or things like that for AFL. But
because they never cowered it out of it.
No.
Like we have.
But we used to be awesome. So I would love to see it, but depends. It probably comes down to the players, as Andrew Dillon did say.
I also look, we can talk about state of origin as much as we want. There is just a very simple way, I think, to go about these things. Just go, you know what? We talked about, this got brought up last week, just a break in the middle of the season for everybody. Just do that.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a bite. We don't have to have roll.
We don't have to have 62 buys. Oh, my God.
Thing is, how's the roll? The Homer donut machine. Footy. What we do instead is you just have the EJ Whitten Legend game. There's a massive thing on a Saturday night. Get 90,000 of that.
I can't believe they don't do that anymore. They haven't done it for a couple of years. That's been very weird.
Just go hammer and tongs. Give everybody the week off. EJ Whitten Legends game. Everybody can just chill. Just have that 1 week where you're like, where's the footy? I'd be angry for about a week. I'd lose it, but then there's still footy on the weekend at some point.
Exactly.
Maybe we should have some sort of curtain raiser on the Friday night, one on the Saturday, something on the Sunday.
A women's rep game or something.
Women's rep game.
That'd be great.
Doesn't matter. It's not rocket surgery, Andrew Gillen-Dillon. Sort it out, mate. Other news. I'm cooked after a massive NBA draft day today.
I don't know how your voice is still going.
I've been talking for 5 hours at this point today.
And buddy Johnny Furby still hasn't got picked. Get him picked.
Just get him out there for Carlton. Just like, can we pick him?
What is he? 6'6" or 7 or something?
We've picked number 31 in the NBA draft. The Carlton Blues select Johnny Furphy. And I'm just standing up, Johnny, hey, Tins, come with me, boy. Off we go. Anyway, Pies fans should be getting excited. Why is that, Stats Boy?
Oh, you got DeGoey and Pendles both back in this week, which we'll get into the teams in a little moment.
I like that. They're going up north.
DeGoey didn't go to Bali.
I think they just want to go get warm.
Yeah, possibly. DeGoey didn't go to Bali apparently last week, whereas a lot of other players did. If he did, I don't reckon he would have been back this week.
Okay. Do you have proof that he didn't go?
I don't, but they did. Some of the reporters said he was advised not to, whereas all the other players were like, you can go.
Do you reckon he's allowed back in?
No, I mean, maybe he's not allowed there for other reasons.
I feel like
Indonesian.
Jordan De Goe's got a bit of a vibe where he's not allowed on Jetstar flights.
Maybe. I don't know. He can afford probably better than Jetstar anyway.
Maybe. Other news, George Wardlaw, the Warlord. This might put a bit of a dent in his rising star chances here, Stats Boy, because he's out for the next 2 games after getting concussed at training where he was spewing on the side.
Whoever concussed him at training should be dropped from the club. That is a joke. You can't hurt our best player or second best player the last 3 weeks. He's been awesome this year. I still think he'll win Rising Star. It's only 2 weeks because he's still going to finish off the season all right, but gutted because he had 2 weeks with the new concussion protocols as well. Used to be 1 week. Not good.
This is all Jeremy Cameron's fault.
He's done something. Yeah, we'll go and get him.
Anyway, tough one for the Warlord. So how's that sit with your Rising Star noms? What do you reckon?
I honestly think he's a fair bit ahead because in terms of the odds, it's $1.50 to $10. It will definitely shorten who have you got out there that we talked about? Darcy Wilson, Ollie Dempsey. I think he's been still a lot better than them. And all of the other people around the Rising Star have missed games as well. And he hasn't really missed any. So
I reckon Dempsey can give it a shake.
Dempsey could, but he's also missed 3 or 4 games this year as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Nice one. Other little bits and bobs. Mitch Lewis is going to spend another week playing for the Box Hill Hawks instead of coming back this week. They just want to get him right.
Also, they're flying at the moment, so that's okay, yeah.
Lockie Schultz had too many bintangs. Don't know if he actually went to Bali. He just might have been.
I know Collingwood players did go to Bali, but he's sick. So
don't eat the street meats.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Lockie?
No
street meats.
Had some water. No good.
So he's out with gastro and
gastro.
Fly.
No, we don't know.
Fly.
Fly
McRae was out there. He's going, he had a bit of gastro. It's a bit rough.
Yeah.
It's we know.
Yeah.
I've got 2 small children. I know.
Yeah.
Oh God, I know.
It's a weekly thing.
But Lockie Schultz, it's I don't know. Is this bintang related? Is it street meats related?
I don't know.
No one knows.
I checked his Insta. Nothing on there, so we won't know.
Just creeping on him. Good job. Newshound Stats Boy. Tom Barrash reckons he wants to be an Eagle for life, which is weird because he's a man.
Jeez. That is the worst dad joke going around.
I mean, I want to be a fighter jet, bro.
I didn't even read that on the run
Don't you want to be a dinosaur?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, why not? Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up? A fire truck.
I want to be George Wardlaw.
But Tom Barrass, look, I love it because this is the thing. West Coast Eagles, we've already talked about Harley Reid earlier this week. $18 million for 10 years, whatever. But people keep circling around Tom Barrass.
He's a good player.
He's a good player.
I like that he wants to stay there.
And he's I want to stay. And you're that's kind of nice.
Which Eagles player is the most like an Eagle? I'd say He's very pointy face.
Harley Reid's got
the hair, yeah.
The hair sort of flies out the side.
Because you said you want to be an Eagle.
Not Jack Darling.
No, he's a bear.
He's an elephant.
He's a very muscly elephant.
Yeah. And Dylan Grimes is done for the season, not going to be up for selection because he's had back surgery. So the big question is whether or not he comes back.
That might be him done. I saw Adam Ruse was talking on TV just before saying his future will be discussed at the end of the year, which anytime people are talking about that, that's not it. You don't want to hear that.
Hey, Stats Guy, we're going to discuss your future at the end of the season.
That's all right. I've still got 6 months. That's pretty good.
That's one. All right, let's do it. Time for round 16. Game previews.
Let's go.
Previews. Friday night foot. I don't like singing the actual Friday night footy song.
Because it should be Thursday.
I much preferred singing the Thursday night footy song as a piss take of the Friday night footy song.
I agree.
And now I'm just stuck here going Friday night footy.
Maybe we need a new Friday night one.
Waiting all day for Friday night.
There we go.
That's the Sunday night football.
Oh, yeah.
For NFL. I like it. See, I've just got to take something, screw with it a little bit. It makes it fun.
I knew you would be on straight onto that. That was good.
Brisbane, a 30.5-point favourites over the Melbourne Demons up at the Gabatoir. The Gabatoir is back. We had a chat with Callum Dick yesterday talking about the Gabatoir.
We think it is back.
7:40 Friday night. The over-under in this one's 168.5, Stats Boy, which feels pretty generous to Melbourne the way that they've sort of been
but Brisbane could get there by themselves.
Brisbane might.
Yeah, or close to it.
We've had games between these two teams that have been pretty chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
You might remember the lights went out last year.
Nuts.
Was that last year? Towards the end of the year?
I think it was last year.
Absolute chaos stuff. I'm pretty excited for this game for the simple fact that great kit matchup.
Yep.
You know how I love my kit matchups. And we're going to learn a very large amount about the resiliency of the Melbourne Football Club.
Yes, we really are.
I don't like it when people say Melbourne Football Club, but when the Melbourne Demons just sounds silly sometimes. You go, Melbourne Demons. And they sort of tend to not call themselves. Anyway.
No, they do they say MFC.
But the Brisbane sort of offense has been absolutely firing, as we mentioned. Awesome. So the over-under, look, it just sort of feels like it's being kind of generous towards Melbourne more than anything after mustering what? We've broken this down time and time again. 70 against the Roos last week, 51 before that, 49, 100 against the Saints, 70 against West Coast, 76 against the Blues, 74 against the Cats. Like, that's brutal. So,
but I think the over-under's like that because Brisbane have been, they got 152 against Port themselves.
Yep.
And I think Melbourne are worse off than Port. So if they get around 150, then Melbourne only have to get 3 goals.
But these are the third best defense, though. Lions are the fourth best defense. So that's kind of like the weird thing.
That's the only weird part of it, yeah. Two really strong defenses.
So give us some stats boy.
Yeah, so Brisbane obviously won. Actually, I haven't done this one, but oh my God. Have won the last meeting by 22 points last time at the MCG. And they've won 17 of their last 20 at the Gabba. Obviously been really off this year, but as we predicted during the week with Callum, I think they're going to get back to that Gabba twice, surely at some point. Last week they put up 152. I'm talking about their offense, and I'm still going over. I think Brisbane are going to put up a huge score. So they've got 152, 126, 114, and then a few weeks before that, 163 they put up. So I still think I'm going the over in this one, and the last 6 Lions matches have gone over the total points. So surely this one goes over.
Nice one. Well, the big question obviously for this one is, are Brisbane back?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
I think they are.
And so is Will Ashcroft because he's been named, which is very cool. I'm excited for Will Ashcroft. A, great hair.
Great hair.
Pretty good footballer.
Yes.
Darragh Joyce comes in as well for Jack Payne and Shadow Brain. But Brucey reveal.
Brucey.
I saw Shadow Brain. I'm like, Brian, Bruce. I'll get there eventually. Brucey reveal keeps his
still
spot.
in. Thank
That's
God. Great for SuperCoach, and I think he deserves it as well. He's been really good for the Lions.
For the D's, Jakey Lever. Not bad. Tajwo Woden. And Andy Moniz Wakefield makes his debut, which is pretty cool.
What
Christian
a name.
Salem goes out. Now, this was a bit of a query we had last week about Salem with like a bit of a grab at the hammy or whatever. Kynan Brown, brutal one for SuperCoaches.
He was a bit stiff. Oh, not to go out because he wasn't very good, but stiff. Didn't
made
get
his
too much
debut
game time.
coming off the bench
on the sub. It's always brutal like that.
Like Howes goes out. So this is a really strange setup where Brisbane are flying, D's are struggling.
Yeah.
D's get Jake Lever back at least.
That'll help the defense, actually. That might change my over-under. I'm still going over, I think, but...
I'm going to go the over.
Yep.
That's all right. But in terms of this, I mean, the last 6 Lions games have gone over.
Mm-hmm.
Two top four defenses going at it. It's a strange setup. But I think between these two teams, we've kind of seen a few, like, belters, right? So as I mentioned, like that, the light... Baby, when the lights go out.
That was chaos, that game.
It was
Brisbane
game.
was smacking them before the lights went out, and then Melbourne had the bit of momentum out of the gates.
Exactly. And so their last few games, 82-60.
Yep.
105-104 and 93-82.
I don't think it can be that close this time, though. Melbourne have looked horrible without Petrarca.
Yep. So Hipwood's playing pretty well, stats boy.
Yeah, Hipwood, form of his life. 13 goals in his last 3 games, across his last 3 games. And then Big Gorney, he's literally a one-man show at the moment. I feel bad for him. He's had 20-plus disposals in 4 of the last 5 games. He has the ability to get 20-plus disposals, but you shouldn't have to rely on him. Clary needs to lift. Viney needs to lift, but yeah, not
so
good enough. So
Viney was the sort of pick that I had in like without Petrarca.
Yeah.
I snagged him in the SuperCoach draft.
Nice.
But he's had like a pretty up and down season. But like last year, super consistent, super awesome. This is a really big, tough ask, I think, for Melbourne going up there. I'm going to take Brisbane by 63.
63.
I think they run over the top of them.
Honestly, don't mind that pick. I'm going Brisbane by 50. I think that line is my lock of the weekend. We haven't been doing locks of the weekend, but if I had to make one, minus 30.5 is way too small.
Melbourne beat them by 5 goals.
Melbourne should have lost last week as well against North. Being a North fan, I wish we got over the line, but...
So the Roos kicked the last 6 goals unanswered, didn't they?
Yeah. Second halves lately, they look out of gas. Clayton Oliver just looks so tired. Oh, he needs to have a pre-season. It's half. What is it? 3/4 of the way through the season, like you said during the week. I don't know. Lots of excuses for Melbourne. They're going to get smashed here in Brisbane.
I feel like you've had enough time to build up your tank.
Surely.
Saturday, your beloved North Melbourne taking on the Bulldogs. The Western Bulldogs are 36.5-point favourites. It feels like the Dogs are playing pretty well. We understand this. Like they've had a pretty good run. The trickiest part is, I think, is trying to figure out whether or not the Dogs can continue to be good at football.
That is the big question.
149 up against Freo. They put up 71 against Brisbane and got smoked.
I don't know. They put up 104. So they put up 149 against the league's best defense at the time.
It's crazy.
How did the hell did they do that?
So 6-goal favourites are the Dogs. The over-under is 182, which is pretty funny, but that's because the Dogs are firing on offense last week, at least. Well, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
prior to their bye.
Yeah.
And the Roos have been putting up a couple of scores here and there.
Yeah.
Not last week because that was just a horror game.
Well, where the Roos are also the worst defense in the league by, I think it's 2 goals.
Nice.
Like by a long shot. So, yeah, it's going to be a big score.
You got the 17th best offense and the 18th best defense.
Yeah.
Great job, stats.
Yeah,
bro.
no good. No good at all from the Roos.
All right, give us some stats, quick.
North, though, decent month or month and a little bit. Covered the line in 4 of the last 5 games. Probably should have beaten Collingwood. Could have gotten a lot closer or beaten Melbourne, but haven't beaten the Bulldogs since 2019. That 2019 stat just keeps haunting me every single Thursday night. I think every team that North have played haven't beaten them since 2019. Haven't beaten them since 2019. That's got to change eventually, but probably not this week. The last 6 Dogs matches have gone over the total points. So even though that's really big, I think it's going to be a very free-flowing game. Dogs, we love saying that they're just the marker, what are they? The line of demarcation. Win, loss, win, loss, win. Their last 5. Classic Dogs. If they got to keep up this trend, that means they're going to lose this one, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, because they do bring back Aaron Norton.
Yes.
Oscar Baker.
Or
Sam Darcy.
Well, even Baker's okay, but Darcy and Norton are huge ins.
Echoes Bukukamis, Caleb Daniel, and Anthony Scott. In for the Roos comes Callan Dawson in place of the Warlord. LDU plays his 100th game.
Yes.
Isn't that nice?
What a ledge.
Very cool. The big question is quite literally, are the Dogs able to win 2 in a row? That's like literally the biggest thing that you can just keep asking.
They haven't done it for like 6 or 7 weeks, yeah.
Oh, yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Can you? They're like, oh, we could. We're playing the Roos.
I think they're lucky that they're playing the Roos. If they were playing anyone but the Roos or Richmond, you'd be like, oh, should I tip the Dogs? But
if the Dogs hadn't just smashed Freo last time out at Marvel 2 weeks ago,
they do
I'd probably
this.
go the Roos, but
I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this, just the way they're going at the moment.
I think they just fall over the line. 11-point win to the Dogs.
Ooh,
Fun
11-point
times.
win. I think the Dogs still by 29. I think Roos will cover the line again.
Yep.
Bont, he loves dominating when the Dogs are favourites. 25 plus and 2 goals the last 5 times they've been favourites. Phillips has been doing a really good job tagging. He tagged Dacos, kept him out of the game, kept Oliver out of the game. But Phillips is 12 centimetres smaller than Bont. So Bont's going to have a field day even if Phillips tries to tag.
So Bont came off the field at training this week, right? Looking a little bit
Yeah.
proppy. Proppy was the word.
Back spasm or
They've
something.
named him at full forward.
Oh, I don't mind that though.
Next to Jamara, Cody Waitman.
That is a tall
Nortman,
forward line.
Riley West Jackman. Actually, I'm going to make it 111 points. They're going to smash it now. I've looked
because
at it.
they've got all their tolls
I'm going to go
back.
41. That's actually, now looking at it, you're like, that is terrifying.
We've got
So,
Sheasel starting at centre back on our one. That's a bit of a worry.
yeah, that is worrisome.
He's like my height.
Other stats there, Stats Boy?
Oh, just another one. LDU's 100th. I absolutely love him. Probably the best North player the last month, and that's because he's been averaging 31 disposals across.
What would you
the last
say to him if he was right here, right now?
Oh, I'd give him a hug, and then I'd make a banner for him to run through on the show.
Do you think he'd want to be hugged?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we go way
He
back.
seems like a huggable kind of
Yeah,
dude.
he does. He seems like a nice guy.
Have you got mates who are just like, oh, I'm not a hug guy?
Yeah, a few
Yeah?
people, yeah.
Are you a hugger?
Yeah, why not?
All right,
yeah,
nice.
why not?
I'm a big hug.
Yeah,
man.
well, I can tell
I
you.
love a good hug.
Yeah, big bear hug.
I'm just like, come here.
Yeah.
Get
Why
around
not?
him.
Why not? I feel like
It's the
LDU
best
would
part.
be as well. It's a
Nice.
good tackler. So maybe does that relate to hugging?
I don't know if that translates, but maybe.
Maybe.
Look, as I
Like
always
James Rowbottom leads the tackles. Is he a good hugger?
as I always say, when the kid is doing something crazy, the human body craves contact. Seriously, the baby's just like, I'm going to tackle the big one.
Yeah, why not?
And he's just like, blah. I'm like, human body craves contact. It's all good.
He'll be playing for the Blues one day.
All right, your pick, Stats Boy?
Yeah, Dogs by 29. Are you changing yours?
41.
41.
I've gone up by 5 goals.
You've gone up by 30 points.
I went up by 5 goals just by looking at their lineup going, wait
Honestly,
a minute, Norton's back. Okay.
Fair enough.
All right, Sydney, Freo. This is a big game at the SCG Friday afternoon, 4:35. 27.5 point favourites are the Swans. The over-under is 172.5, which to me actually says a lot about Sydney and their favouritism there because Freo have been really good defensively. We know that this year, grind them into the dust kind of vibe. They're the second best defense in the league. The 172.5 is more about, I reckon, the Swans at the SCG just going, we're just going to do a bit of a shootout.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards the under though because you got obviously Sydney are first in offense and defense. But Freo, other than that little blip they had against the Dogs, are really good at pulling out the clamps. So I'm going under.
So when these teams played 6 weeks ago,
Yes.
start of May, 39-87. Blah. But before that, 76-105. 86-103. Crazy vibes.
Well, Freo, that 86-103 was the last SCG meeting, and Freo actually won it, which really surprised me. But Swans have won for the last 5 meetings.
So, give some stats, man.
Yeah, there was one.
That was one.
That was one.
I said stats.
Yeah, stats. Oh, we got another one? I got another one. Sydney's average winning margin this year is 37 points. So that's why I think that line could be a little bit more than the 27.5. And their last 5 matches have gone over the total points. I think that Freo will go under, though. We'll help this go under.
Hang on. So I said 4:30. This is 1:45.
Oh, I might have put in the wrong time there.
I feel like you may have.
Hey, is it 1:45? Oh, there you
And
go.
now I'm confused. Is this Saturday or Sunday? You're killing me.
This is on Saturday. I'm pretty sure.
I'm all upside down.
Wait.
1:45 at the SCG.
Yes, 1:45 on Saturday, straight. Same time as the North Bulldogs.
Because why wouldn't we have Thursday night footy when we can have 2 games on at the exact same time? That just seems much smarter.
That is weird.
And then 2 games on Saturday night.
North Bulldogs fans would still probably want to watch Sydney. This is the way they're playing at the moment.
Just shocking.
What are they doing?
Either way, we still have the ins and outs for this game.
Yes.
We have the Swans unchanged. Why would you change the greatest team in the last 150 years of Aussie rules footy?
Exactly.
Freo, Josh Draper comes in for Alex Pearce. Brandon Walker in for the dropped Carl
That is stiff.
Warner.
Warner, I'm glad I didn't bring him in SuperCoach. He was really good 2 weeks ago. Pretty average last week, but that's a bit stiff, I think.
The big question is, will Sydney ever lose again?
Ever.
Ever.
How many flags do they win in a row? Just
22.
Infinity. 22 flags.
How old is Chad Warner until he retires? Bum.
He's going to retire when he's
15.
45.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's going to have a 22-year career. I don't think they'll lose again this year.
All right, good. Done.
Why not?
I'm glad we solved that.
Yeah.
Their average winning
Maybe ever.
margin, though, like that's the coolest part.
I like that one.
Sydney are a strange. It's always a weird one when you talk about average winning margins, but it's at 30. Like if you're beating this far into the season, when you're 13-1 and you're just kicking the heads in of every team, winning your average winning margin is by 6 goals.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Anything above 30 is just a smashing anyway.
So their last 5, they smashed Carlton, they smashed the Dogs, they smashed Geelong, they smashed Adelaide, they smashed the Giants. Like they're just smashing teams. So
too good.
It's really hard, even though I don't mind Freo as like a bit of a sneaky pick just because they've been kind of handy. But
they're okay
losing
on the road,
Alex Pearce.
Yeah, Alex Pearce is a huge out.
Tough one. Freo, as mentioned, did win the last meeting at the SCG by 17.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to stay with Sydney by 6 goals. That's their average. Let's just stay average.
6 goals? I don't mind that. I'm going to go them just over the line. So 28 points I'm going Sydney by. Just think, at home. If this was at Optus Stadium, I think this could be really, really close because Freo have been a lot better there. But at the SCG, Grundy's dominant.
They smashed them at the Optus Stadium earlier this year, like literally 6 weeks ago.
I forgot about that. So. But Sydney by 28. SCG, Grundy always fires up at home as well. So they're going to.
That's one of the things. So talking about this, Wo Errol has like one of the biggest SuperCoach projections this week.
Oh, okay.
Grundy at the SCG.
Grundy, yeah.
Chad Chudley-Warner loves a snag. Luke Jackson doesn't mind a couple of snags at the SCG. Yeah. He kicked 3 there last year in that win.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like Caleb Strong, he's had a little bit of a dip in productivity. Andy Brayshaw's been a little bit better.
I chucked in Will Hayward, loves playing Freo, which is a bit of a weird one, but 3+ goals last 2 times he's played Freo, so he might fire up again.
And Strong averages 33 against the Swans.
Last 2 seasons, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's had 4 weeks though under 30. So.
Yeah. Bit off to his stands, but a few of the other mids have lifted, so he's going all right still.
Good job. So we're both going Sydney. No surprises there. They're the best team in the history of the AFL. Gold Coast versus Collingwood. This game is awesome. Somehow, the Magpies on the road, above the 28th parallel, are 2.5 point favourites over the Gold Coast Suns. What are we doing here?
That's just not correct.
It doesn't make any sense.
Be right. You'll load up and change the line anyway.
100%. I'm going to change the line by myself. Awesome game. Can't wait for this. 4:35 on Saturday afternoon.
Sell out.
At People's First.
Yep.
It's going to be great. I also love that Gold Coast haven't won away from home. They're back at home.
0-7, yep.
Playing an interesting Collingwood team. The over-under is 165.5. How do we feel about this one, Stats, man?
They're very average on both, offense and defense. I'm leaning towards the over just because the Suns average 50 more points at home. They usually get about 100 to 110 points. I think it was 107 points a game at home.
107 to 57, I think.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Away, right?
So, and Pies haven't been very good on defense. They're the 10th best defense when they've been winning the last couple of years. You'd be like, Darcy Moore's on fire, but they just haven't been. So I'll be leaning towards the over on this one because, Suns fire up at home.
Good one. The ins and outs. Ben King, that's a big in. Nick Holman as well, very handy.
Oh, yes.
In for Jake Rogers, dropped. Oh, man, SuperCoach is copping a battering this week. Brandon Ellis is out injured as well. In for the Pies, here we go. Oleg Markov, Scott Pendlebury, Brody Myercheck, Jordan De Goey, and Joey Richards.
Oh, Myercheck's back as well.
Richards? Did you keep him for SuperCoach stats, boy? What are you doing?
No, I definitely didn't. Did you?
No, I didn't. Charlie Dean's been dropped. Finn McRae's been dropped. Lockie Schultz, Gastro, Reef McInnes dropped, and Tujiath, TJ omitted.
That is some huge. They are some huge ins.
Pendles, Myercheck, De Goey.
They're three of their best, like their top 10 players. So that's really good.
The big question here is this a Pies home game?
It will sound like it. Last time they actually played there at People's First, they won by 78 points, and that was to do with the whole crowd was Collingwood. You wouldn't have even realised it was a Gold Coast game. Felt bad for the Suns fans just getting mauled by people with no teeth and flags in their face and things like that. That's going to happen again today, and it's going to feel like a home game for the Pies.
Look out, he's going to gum you to death. This is above the 28th parallel, though.
Surely.
So, ergo, the Gold Coast Suns will win.
Yeah. I don't even think we...
That's just rocket science.
Yeah.
Not surgery.
They don't lose above that parallel. So
they don't.
I'm going Gold Coast by 10.
I'm going Gold Coast by 4.
Yeah.
I think this is a great game. I think there's a really fun setup here where you have the Pies midfield. They get Pendles back. They get to go
Players back, yep.
Really fun, exciting, good ball users.
I think that's why the Pies would be favourites because Myercheck back in that side, they haven't had a tall forward for about 5 weeks. So they'll be happy with that. Ben Long. Some stats here, stats boy. 2+ goals in his last 3 Gold Coast home games. You could say that about every Gold Coast player. Noah Anderson plays better at home. Jack Lukosius plays better at home. The only one that's been really consistent is Ben King up forward, but he's always been king goals. Lipinski as well averages 24 touches last few years against Gold Coast. Bit of a random one, but he averages more than any other team he faces. So loves playing the Gold Coast.
This is going to be a great game. I'm going to go the Suns, as I mentioned, by 4. I think this should be an absolute back and forth arm wrestle.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm fascinated to see how the Gold Coast defense sort of stands up. Like we've seen them, especially obviously at home, just put the clamps on teams then let the midfield run rampant.
Yeah, I think they've got a good team. Bodie Euland's having a really good year. Sam Collins is always pretty solid. They've got a few underrated guys, I think, in their backline.
And the Pies, like we've talked about this time and time again, even with Dacos sort of, hitting a nice patch of form, their defensive midfield now has always been sort of in question.
Yeah.
And if you give Gold Coast Suns an inch, they'll take a mile, as the saying goes, or they'll take a 28th parallel, perhaps.
Oh, there we go.
There's
dark music in the background.
And take an entire part of latitude. Jeez. But I think Gold Coast, like this, we talk about big calls, etc. Like this is a landmark game for the Suns, doesn't it feel like? Because if they win it, they're really sort of like
against the big team,
greases the skids to actually make the finals at some point. 8 and 7.
This could decide it.
Lose this, and you're like, still can't do it.
This is the time of year that they lose these type of games, and then they lose confidence, and then they lose
Classic
3 in a row.
Suns, yeah.
So being a neutral, I'd love to see the Suns in the final. So I hope they win this one.
Sorry, Collingwood fans.
Yeah,
sorry.
we've already seen you win a flag.
Geelong Essendon Saturday night. This is just like tunes time with Jim.
Yeah,
just a lot of songs
just lost
today.
your marbles from too many live streams.
Just been talking. I've just run out of oxygen. My brain's just flying.
You're going to sing more than talking at the moment.
There are some big ins and outs for this game as well, but the Essendon Bomb Rays are 1.5 point favourites at the MCG on Saturday night at 7:30. The over-under is 167.5. The Bombers are ahead of the Cats on the ladder. The Cats have gone 1-6 in their last 7 after starting 7-0. This is getting worrisome, stats boy.
Yeah, I'd be worried if I was the Cats. The main one for the Cats is that they're 15th ranked in the defensive column. That is a huge worry. Tom Stewart, again, we've said it before, he might get tagged by Guelphy, people are saying. Guelphy's a lot smaller, but he's been, I don't know, if he's pinching people like Matt Crowley used to do or things like that. But yeah, I'm worried about the Cats' defense.
Ryan Crowley?
Who did I say? Matt Crowley. Yeah. Oh, I meant to say Ryan Crowley. Yeah.
Ryan Crowley.
Creepy Crowley.
Yep.
So that's the thing I'm worried about. Their defense has been horrible. Dons, what's their offense? 8th offense, so that's not too bad at 86 a game. Yeah, they've just been so off and very unlike Geelong because they're usually they're really good at lockdown and defending.
Ins and outs for this are interesting as well, right? As mentioned, Lawson Humphrey comes in for the Cats, making his debut.
Cool.
Shannon Neal comes in, presumably for Tomahawk.
Yes.
Mitch Nevitt in as well.
Ollie Henry.
Out goes Ollie Henry with an injury. Ocean Mullen and Tomahawk.
Yeah. That's brutal because Henry and I know Hawkins hasn't been going too well, but he still is a big guy.
You know what this says to me?
Big Shannon Neal guy.
Jezza time.
Oh, Jezza. Sorry, yes.
Toddley Goldstein. I love Toddley. JD Gresham and Jai Menzies and Nate Caddy dropped. So Menzies, I reckon, is a bit stiff.
Caddy
was pretty
actually
good.
did really well as well, but Goldie, just the experience.
Up against a Cats team that's like, Blixabs is our ruck, sure.
I can't believe they've still put Sam de Koning in there last week. I reckon I was trying to rattle Tom. Definitely
Did
didn't
not
work. Don't put him in the ruck ever again.
All right, give us some stats, man.
Yeah, sure. Essendon have won their last 13 matches as favourite, which a lot of people say Essendon are downhill skis, but when they're favourite, they do win. So even though this is only slight favouritism. Geelong have won the last 6 meetings though in this matchup, but have failed to cover the line in their last 10 matches after a loss. So they just, I don't know, when they lose, their heads are down the next week as well. So hopefully Geelong can fire up in this one. That's all I'm hoping for, because I think Geelong still have the team that can make finals, but they're just not playing like it at all.
Tricky one. Essendon are 9-4-1.
Yep.
Geelong are 8-6. And I mean, the big question for this one is, can Jezza fire Sans Tomahawk?
He's been so inconsistent this year, Jezza.
He has these flashes where he's about to take over the game. Look at him go! Oh, how did he miss that?
Yeah.
Kind of vibes. This could be the game. I don't know if it will be. I'm going to change my pick with some of those outs. I'm going to go Essendon by 15.
Oh, really?
Completely switched around. The big question, obviously, is will Jezza fire Sans Tomahawk? I think he'll try. I don't mind this Essendon defense at times, though.
I think they should even try Jezza or Tom Stewart in the midfield a little bit. There needs to be some firepower in there. Just a big body. There's a lot of guys in there just getting 23 or less touches.
With Ridley back, Nick Martin, Laverty, Mason Redmond, big Ben Mackay out there as well.
You're talking yourself into Essendon?
I've just sort of talked myself into Essendon, who are the best team in the AFL, non-Sydney division, obviously. So
non-Sydney division. We didn't actually talk about this being the country game.
So this is my point. The country game. Who doesn't love the country game, which is in the city at 7:30 on Saturday night, negating the fact that anyone from the country can't get a train home. So don't have a few tins, too bad. Can't go to this game because you can't drive home.
I understand why it's at the G, but don't call it the country game. Have it. Maybe even in Geelong, they could have had it in Geelong.
You know what you could have just done? Just had it at 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon at the G.
They usually have this as the Arvo game on a Sunday Arvo, which I was surprised they don't do that. But you're right, your country people.
Nothing screams country game more like playing in the city at night.
Yeah.
Where no one from the country
you
can
got a
get
good
home
point.
before midnight.
You got a very good point.
Amazing work by the Brains Trust there.
Very good point.
All right. I'm taking Essendon by 15 here, Stats Boy.
I'm going to go Geelong by 3. I'm really worried now with those outs because I think I'm not that fussed about Tomahawk. He's been a bit off, but Ollie Henry, I thought, could have a really good game.
This is a kitchen sink game.
It is.
For the Cats.
I think Geelong have to play attacking.
It's a Scott Bowl as well.
Yeah, Scott Bowl.
I love
we didn't
Scott
talk about
Bowl.
that. Yeah.
Who's the better coach? Definitely not Brad. Do you reckon their
No,
mum
I
is
don't
just
know
like,
about that. When Chris Scott got his
Brad,
flag,
just get out of here, would you?
When Chris Scott got his first flag, he just inherited one of the best teams ever.
Sure.
The second one though is different because he has one too.
Brad Scott also had to get
Brad Scott had some crap
grandfathered
teams.
into basically being given like a job with the family gig, essentially running the the rules for the AFL and gross.
But no, definitely Chris Scott's the better coach. I just wanted to lengthen that out a little bit more as a North fan.
Again on Saturday night. Sad. I still couldn't get tickets to Cold Chisel. I'm still angry about this.
Oh.
Anyway,
someone on here might have one.
Anybody out there, just let your mate Jim know.
Yeah.
Adelaide GWS at the Adelaide Oval. The GWS Giants on the road against a reeling Crows who are 4-9-1. Talk about Tex Walker. Has he played his last game?
Oh,
I don't know. He's been named.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's playing on the weekend, isn't he?
The over-under is 160.5, which just sort of screams about Adelaide's lack of firepower of late.
Yes.
And
GWS.
GWS as well. Same
really
sort of
bad
vibe,
on
right?
offense lately.
The Giants' favourites on the road. The Crows' offense, 12th. That is just an absolute kick in the guts.
Way
How
better
is this
than that.
Crows' offense 12th stats boy?
Yeah, you got Walker. Obviously, Walker's older, but Fogarty, Rankin, Ross Rosali, Keys usually can pop up for a couple of goals. Even Lockie Scholl's been getting goals, but their big guys just haven't been consistent. Rosali and Fogarty just need to be a bit more consistent. 2 goals a game, lads. Surely it's not that hard.
This is 7 p.m. on Saturday.
Oh.
The other one's at 7:30. So anyhow, this is we've actually gotten turned around.
Nice.
GWS beat the Crows 71-57 last time out. They beat them 106-90 the time before that, and 113-54.
Well, GWS have actually
4 straight.
Yeah, well, they've won the last 4, and 3 of those matches were at Adelaide Oval.
Oh, hello.
So GWS at Adelaide Oval are just powerhouse.
Apparently.
Yeah.
In comes Big Tex Walker, Riley O'Brien. Jeez, finally. Elliot Himmelberg as well. Out goes Bolazzi. Bolas.
He's been in and out.
Harry
of trouble.
Schoenberg. Kieran Stroney.
Oh, Stroney.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Not really. He was not.
No, he wasn't great.
GWS bringing in Harry Perryman. Like that.
Yeah.
Stephen Caniglio's back. Watch out. Is that coming? Is he coming or going? We don't know.
Those 3 ins are massive.
Out goes Peatling, Angwin, and O'Halloran. I'm now changing my pick, having seen those ins and outs. I'm going GWS by 6.
Boo. Oh, no.
Because that is a tough one. Big question is, does Nick survive the weekend if this is a belting?
Oh, it's very rare in AFL that you get kicked out mid-season.
It's not really mid-season for the Crows if they lose this. The season's done.
I think he could go at the end of the season, but yeah, not after this week.
They would be 4-10-1 if they lose this, Stats Boy.
Also, GWS just don't have enough firepower to make this like a smashing. I think it will be close either way. But even if they lose, it's still going to be a bad look on Adelaide at home.
So Isaac Cumming.
Canelio's massive.
Canelio's massive. Perriman's very handy as well. Mm-hmm. I really like the Giants in this. They're not afraid of Adelaide Oval. Let's go. You got some stats?
Yeah, a few player ones. Toby Green's kicked 3+ goals in his last 3 matches against Adelaide. So he's been very off this year, Toby. That's part of the reason I think they're going back because you could just rely on him to get 20 and 3 goals every week last year.
What's the explanation for that?
Oh,
new kid.
But he hasn't got the dad powers. No. Just goes either way.
Paddy Cripps got him?
Yeah.
Toby Green didn't.
Toby Green going to get him. Laird as well, 25+ in 7 of his last 8 games. He has all the stats. I just need him to have more impact on the game. Same as Dawson. Yeah. Same as who else? Soligo's been really good. He's having impact on the game, but I don't think Laird is at the moment.
I reckon Adelaide put up a fight.
Yep, I agree.
Give me GWS by a goal though, and I think this is just one of those, poor Adelaide. It is a crazy, fascinating game though, because you got 2 teams who, GWS have been far from convincing. I feel like most of this season,
since the start,
lost to the Sydney like last week. Yeah, you're going to lose to Sydney. But we put up a fight late, but they were getting smashed.
Sydney
what are we doing?
Just put the foot off the gas.
They beat the Power prior to that in a weird game. They lost to the Hawks. It's just been very, very, very strange. I think the Giants get this done though. I think Caniglio is a big one. Let's do it. Yep. Go Giants. It's a big, big sound.
I like the ins as well. GWS by 2 goals for me.
I did have a big yellow on NBA Australia though about how the Cat Empire wrote big, big sound. Well, one of the dudes from Cat Empire. And I didn't know that. I just yelled more and more about how bad the Cat Empire were.
But that guy wrote a really good song.
That dude wrote an awesome song.
GWS, great song.
Good on you, Harry. Sunday, St Kilda take on the Port Adelaide Power. Never dare support. Boom, 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 boom. We hate you, Ken. Boom, 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 boom. We hate you, Ken.
His new scarves got around Ken out.
Tough one.
Sad for Ken.
Over at Marvel Stadium, the Saints are somehow 2.5-point favourites against the Power.
That shows how bad the Power are going.
How is that possible, Stats Boy? The Saints are 5-9 and 14th. The Power are still in the 8 at 8 and 6.
I'll double check, but
they have lost their last 3 games. They've looked horrendous. Have the Port Adelaide Power?
They are still 2.5-point favourites.
That's chaos.
That is crazy.
The over/under is 160, and this is the 1:10 p.m. game at Marvel on Sunday. Stats Boy, give us some stats on the offense and defense here.
Yeah, so you got Saints always down the bottom in offense, especially when you're coached by Ross Lyon. So they're 15th. Offensive Port is a little bit better in 9th. Then the defense, the Saints defense always strong, 5th. Power 13th. So it depends if you think the Power can get through the Saints defense, because everyone that comes to Marvel against the Saints, we saw the Suns the other week. They only scored 49 points.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I'm still leaning towards the under, because just Ross Lyon loves making this really 100%. A horrible game. Port as well haven't been putting up big scores above 70. They've been in the 70s the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I'll be leaning towards the under because of those stats.
Nice one. Port don't mind the old Marvel as well, right?
They love it there. Yeah, I forgot to say that one. Port have won 13 of their last 14 against the Saints, but a Marvel specialist, 9-1 in their last 10 at Marvel. I don't know why. Maybe they should play their home games at Marvel.
I feel like one of the ones they lost might have been in Carlton at some point.
It was. It was the end of last year when you were on your crazy run. Start of your crazy run.
The other week, I think they've beaten them the last 5 straight too. So the big question here is, we asked this about Matthew Nicks. Does Ken survive the weekend if they get belted? It's a bit tough on the road, but at the same time, you can just leave him here.
Let me
just go, oh yeah,
you can come
Ken,
on our show.
Ken, we're on like the 6:45 flight. And he's like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, where's everyone gone?
He's like, where is everybody? It's like, oh, we'll meet you at the pub. He's like, I'm here. Yeah. Everyone's like, don't respond.
There's Palmer.
Anyway, can the Saints score? Basically is what this is. Can Power show some heart? That's all this is.
I think the power might lift. You get Butters. I saw in an article just saying, "I love Kenny. I love Ken. We got to go around Ken. We got to do this for Ken." Same as Willem Drew just said that. I think a lot of their leaders are going to be like, "We need to get the media and the fans off Ken's back." So that's why I'm leaning towards Port. I think they can because they've got enough talent at Port.
I'm going to go Port as well.
Yeah.
You got some stats though?
Yeah, a few other ones. What is this? I said unders. 19 of the last 25 Saints games have gone under. If you don't want to watch one of the games on the weekend, usually Saints is a pretty good bet. Sinclair as well. He's been really good the last month. 3 of the last 4 weeks he's had 30 plus, similar to his All-Australian best from a couple of seasons ago. Then Georgiades. Charlie Dixon's obviously out. He stepped up 3+ goals in his last 3 matches.
Oh, that's fine. In for the Saints, Nazaya Wangani-Miller.
Oh, back. Thank
Ryan
God.
Burns, Jimmy Webster, Cooper Sharman. These are the extended benches. Zane Cordy's been dropped already. In for the power, Travis Boak, Willie Rioli, Will Lorenz, Dylan Williams, Lockie Jones, Don Devizantini. Out goes Radigalia. Injured. Chase Burgoyne, injured. Jed McEntee dropped as well. Will Lorenz makes his debut.
Awesome.
I still like the power. I'm going to go the power by 17, just under 3 goals. I think just this is an ugly, early Arvo Sunday game, right?
Yeah, I'm going Port Adelaide by 5 just because
close.
They haven't shown much and yeah, St Kilda aren't too bad at Marvel, so it's going to be an ugly game. Both score under 60 points, I reckon. Not going to be fun.
A rivalry renewed. Now the Carlton are good and Richmond are bad. Yeah. It's the Tigers versus the Blues of the MCG. 3:20 on Sunday, Arvo. This should be a very, very interesting test of Carlton's mettle, I believe. They're 40.5 point favourite stats, boy. The over-under is 170.5. Now, you say they should smack them. This is also like just one of those rivalries where like we've seen Richmond time and time again this season.
They lift, yeah.
Just go, you want to count us out? Check this out. Wha-bang! And you're like, oh, come on, man.
They haven't done that for a while.
Carlton did beat them at the start of the season, 86-81, and just like one of those classic
5 points.
Annoying, heartbreaking, really close. Just watch Jim's blood pressure sky like through the roof. They tied last year. We did a live stream. No, we didn't
live that one, but that would have been a good one.
58-58.
Yeah.
Tigers obviously famously have had the wood over the Blues for a pretty chunky
like 10 years, pretty much, yeah.
Blues did beat them back in 2022 as well. But, I mean, this is a Carlton offense that's been firing the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Even to the point where you're like, they played the best they've all played all season against the Cats last week.
Yep. Just so consistent 4-quarter effort.
Put up 138 on the Cats. You're like, that's good. They put up 96 on the Bomb Rays, 107 on the Power, 102 on Gold Coast prior to that. The Tigers defense at the G, it'll be a very different sort of beast, I think. But I think they'll still be a little bit too good just because the Tigers defense this year is second worst in the AFL.
And then the worst offense.
Yep.
So they're not going to – this is why I'm a bit – hesitant on the over-under. I think I'm still going over because Blues could put up 120 themselves. But yeah, when you've got the worst offense in the comp, that's going to be tough.
For me, I'd probably still go Richmond at the line, the 40.5.
Really?
Just because I think this could be like 90-68 or something and just like a bit of a grubby, annoying sort of game. So give us some stats, man.
Well, the one thing about the line, I think why it is 40.5 is the Tigers have lost 4 of their last 5 MCG games by 40 plus. You go back a couple of years ago, you go, they're not losing at the G, but now they just can't win there. Charlie Curnow, he loves playing against the bottom sides. I don't think he's a downhill skier, but he just gets a lot more of the ball when you're playing the bottom 4. He's good
5 against the Cats
exactly.
last week.
So he's all good. Curnow kicked 4 plus in the last 5 games against teams in the bottom 4. And then Daniel Rioli, we talked about him midweek that a lot of teams would like him, 20 plus in his last 8 games.
It is weird because like you look at that Richmond backline of Broad, Bolter, Vlosten, Rioli.
Still solid, yeah.
Tom Brown, like it gets pretty thin after that though,
just
right?
not one-on-one, yeah.
And I don't know. But Hopper comes back, Jacob Blight, Sam Banks, Caleb Smith.
Yep.
Out goes Tom Lynch.
I called it on the show. I said that he's just coming in because it's Dusty's 300th. That's the only reason.
Talk about proppy.
He was horrible.
Jacob Blight makes his debut, which is very cool. Keep an eye on him for SuperCoach as well. In for the Blues on the extended bench, Corey Durden. Unfortunately, he's been dropped, but Adam Chera, Caleb Muchback, Jesse Motlop, my good friend, and Pito.
That's some big ins.
Pito was actually a call that I made this week on the SuperCoach show, basically going, do you bring back Pito for this 1 week to go, you go against Big Boy Nank?
Yeah. He's a bit stronger than Tom DeConing.
We'll give Tom DeConing like a bit of a rotation. We'll bring Pito back. We'll go with the 2 rucks up against Big Nank.
You called it.
just see how it goes. It's
Yeah.
exactly what's happened. I'm not saying that I'm Nostradamus.
Yeah, that counts.
But Chera being back, look, this is
Chera's
one of the
huge.
ones where it's like, yes, bring him back, get some wind under his sails, and away he goes. Interesting game.
It's
Fascinating setup.
Nank and Zach Williams, 150th. It just says here as well.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Big question, big rivalry game. So the Tigers, will they make it a game, right? This is the thing. Can they?
No.
Will they?
No.
Okay. Good answer.
Sorry, Richmond fans. You're cooked. You're cooked.
I didn't say it. Any other stats there, stats man, or you got them all?
No, I think I've gone through them all.
All right, good.
That's enough.
Let's do it. Carlton by 32.
I'm going Carlton by 45. They're going to do this so easily. And then,
If nothing else, I kind of feel like if Carlton kick away a little bit, they would 100% sort of just give up the goose a little bit later and just
maybe,
the Tigers cover that. So
I sort of want Richmond to get close, though, because that would be very funny.
We're
getting a few angry texts.
To be honest, I just want to see the Blues just kill a team.
Yeah.
And like last week was awesome.
I think it could be 100 plus if all things click for the Blues.
Don't know if that's going to happen.
Could be.
Finally. Wait, is this final? Yes. West Coast Hawthorn. A bird bowl.
The bird bowl.
I love this. So this is what time is this one, Stats Boy?
4:40. I don't know what's
PM.
with my times today.
He's also got it written down at the MCG. So out there, out west, Optus Stadium, Bird Bowl.
Yes.
The Eagles versus the Hawks. Fascinating setup because the Hawks have been good.
Very good.
So have the Eagles.
Have they?
At home.
At home, yeah, 3 and 5.
What are the Eagles, though? Play the drop. 3-11.
Yes.
Love that. Let's go. Look, the Eagles, last time we saw them was last week against the Bomb Rays. Put up a pretty handy fight. Put a scare into them early on the road at Marvel. We know they play Essendon tight. It's the Sheedy Bowl. Prior to that, Roos went over there and beat them. Prior to that, lost to the Saints. Prior to that, got belted by Adelaide. Prior to that, beat Melbourne.
What the hell?
The Eagles are chaos. I love it. I actually really don't mind the Eagles in this one.
Really?
Jakey Waterman back next to, the big Oscar Allen 2+.
Yep.
Like, it's pretty handy. So, in comes Tim Kelly. In comes, fire it up. Whoa, Holly Reid, Bamalam. Whoa, Holly Reid, Bamalam. 1.8 mil, Bamalam.
He's back.
I love that. Andrew Gaff back. Harry Edwards back. Out goes Jack Petrocelli. Hawks have managed Lukey Bruce, Harry Morrison in, Josh Ward, Finn McGuinness, Jai Sarong.
Yeah, Caleb's brother. He's a good player.
Fascinating game. With Tim Kelly and Harley Reid back, it makes it even more fascinating with the Bird Bowl. The thing is, the Hawks, can they win on the road? So this has been the one little thing about the Hawks this season.
Does Tassie count as the road?
Well, so at the G, beat Richmond. At the G, beat the Giants. Beat Adelaide. I think that one was in Tassie. Beat the Lions at Marvel, I believe that one was, wasn't it? Lost to Port Adelaide in that shocker at Adelaide Oval. Beat the Saints at home. Lost to Sydney, but lost to the Gold Coast Suns earlier in the season as well. So on the road is a little bit more of a tricky one. Go all the way out west. We'll see what happens. So give us some stats, man. Oh, the over-under is 163.5, which is also a pretty...
I'd be going under, I think, because as you mentioned before, they've got some decent defenders, the Eagles. So what are they? They're 16th and 16th in offense defense, which is still a bit of a worry, but it's 16th and 13th offenses. So I'm still going the under.
Middle of last year, 142 to 26.
Oh, yeah. They won by
great.
116 last time, the Hawks.
Great.
I forgot about that.
Not great.
Yeah, Hawks, they've covered the line in the last 7 matches. I think they've been one of the most consistent teams in the competition. There's no other team that's been that consistent. You got the Dogs are going up and down, Freo going up and down, Geelong, Port. Hawks, you just know what you're going to get from them. They're going to have a close game. West Coast, we mentioned it before, they're much better at home, 3 and 5 there. I just had a quick look. The Hawks all-time Optus Stadium, I just had it up a second ago. They haven't played there much, but 3 and 5. So take of that what you will, but I
won't take much.
Yeah, we're going to take much. I was going to.
Because it's 3 and 5.
I thought that stat might have a bit more depth behind it before I read it out, but it didn't.
Good job.
There we go.
That's some good stats by the stats man. My favorite thing is like you're such a mediocre stats man. It's like I'm the stats guy. It's like here's a mediocre stat.
No,
actually, to be honest,
that's a good stat.
Rest of the stats have been good.
Yeah,
Maybe you should
that
actually
one
just
was
have
that was
your
crap,
mediocre stat of the week.
Yeah, that was
Here's my mediocre stat of the week. Hi guys. So 3 and 5 all time.
3 and 5. I just got nothing
Womp,
from that.
womp,
Yeah.
womp,
I thought it was going to
womp.
be more games
Stats,
than
man.
that. I thought it was going to be more than 8 games. I was like, oh. Anyway, that's not my best word.
Can the Hawks win on the road is the big question. The Bird Bowl, I think with Harley Reid, with Tim Kelly back, I'm taking the West Coast
Really?
Eagles. By 15. At home, you got the J Train next to Oscar Allen 2+. I love
You
this.
mentioned the J Train. I can give you some better stats for you. How about that? 3+ goals in 7 of his last 8 games. He also kicked 3 goals against the Hawks last time.
Nice.
So you think you might fire up? Yeah.
Cripps has been good. Jamie Cripps, Liam Ryan, very handy last week as well. Liam Duggan, very good last week. Tom Barras, obviously, has come out and said, I want to be an Eagle for life, even though I'm a man. Jeremy McGovern
has
been fantastic. But Gaff being back, next to Harley Reid, let's bloody do it, Eagles. I'm on board.
You're going the Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly. We'll turn into Tom Barras. And away we go. What's your pick there, Statsman?
I've got on the Statsman. That's just, I don't know. That's rattled me. Hawks by 20 points. I think they're going to win the Bird Bowl. They've been really good. 3-4 away from home isn't too bad. And I think they've just got a lot more depth and been really consistent lately.
Nice one. That's all 9 games.
That's why I felt like a longer time. We had 9. Didn't even think about that.
First time I've done 9 in a month and a bit.
Yeah.
Big call for the weekend ahead.
Ooh.
My big call is basically Matty Nix. They get belted. I have a line.
Okay.
66.5 points. If they lose by more than that.
Surely they're not losing by that much. But if they do, he's gone. Okay.
Back her up, boys. It is a fascinating setup for Adelaide at the moment, right? They had you were like, hey, top 4 team, Jim. Top 4 team.
It's a big call, but that didn't work, did it?
Tex comes back. This might be the moment where you go, oh, yeah, Tex might be time to hang him up.
Might be done, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if they get smashed the next couple of weeks. He won't want to play anyway.
By the Giants,
yeah, he won't want to play.
It might be just one of those on your bike. But because there's so much talent on this Crows team between Rochelle, Rankin, like as you mentioned, Fogarty, Ben Keys. How is this offense so bad? Jordan Dawson in the middle.
Above 90 points.
My beloved Lockie, Scholl, Jake Saligo, love them. But wow.
So inconsistent.
If they are not good this week and don't show something, I think, look, if it's a belting, we might see the end of Nix as of this week.
Half time, maybe.
Lose this, he's gone to the end of the season. So
okay.
I really don't like. We talked about bad coaches, and a lot of my point for that was to be going. Ken Hinckley has been wildly successful over a very long time.
Yes,
he hasn't won a flag. He hasn't made a grand final. No. That's tough. Matthew Nix has been in charge at Adelaide for like 5 years.
Done nothing
with what to show for it.
He'll be gone.
It is brutal. So
yep.
Nix is on his bike.
Nice.
Stats boy.
Ben King, he's going to feast 5+ goals against Collingwood. I don't rate Collingwood's defense at all. I think, where were they as I scroll up quickly? If I can find them. I can't find them. Oh, there we go. They are the 10th best defense. So that's really not to their standards. Darcy Moore's looked off. Suva kicked 4 in a row against him.
Yep.
And I think that Ben King is second in the Coleman. He's going to catch up to Charlie in the Coleman, possibly, and kick 5+ against the Pies.
Against the Pies at home.
Why not?
He is very handy at home.
He's been really good. 38 goals this year. Just don't rate Collingwood's defense this year. They got a lot of ins, midfield ins, forward ins, but not back ins. So, yeah, don't rate it at all.
Very good. What are we keeping an eye on this week? So the biggest storylines to sort of vaguely make sure that you're kind of just like, keep an eye on. Just keep an eye on. Just keep an eye on Port Adelaide and Geelong.
Just in general, pretty
Those
much.
two teams have been reeling. So you're trying to keep an eye on the simple fact of whether or not they can show some heart and bounce back. So as I talked about, with those outs for the Cats, that's huge. That's massive. The country game. Oh, God, what are they going to do? Played in the city. But against the hated rivals of the Bombers, can they show a bit of something? Can Chris Scott take it to brother Brad? And the Power, I mean, this is it. Like, this is put up or shut up time for the Power. They have to actually
so much pressure on their coach.
It's literally coming down to the players going, how much heart do we have? What are we doing?
Yep.
Finn Layson is just an absolute flog of a bloke and a flog of a player this season. And I want to see him step up and do something.
Good call.
Because the Power, God, they've been horrible. Show us something.
Yep.
Simple as that. Keep an eye on it. Because if they keep spiraling, they could both miss the 8.
Which is, it's crazy because they were flying at the start.
Essendon against a good team.
I just put him in, put this in there.
No, I love this.
Just against the side pushing for finals. They haven't beaten one team in the top 11. You got Geelong thereabouts pushing for finals. So just to see if they can just flex their muscles against a good team.
So it's a fascinating setup again for Essendon. I'm going to say fascinating setup one more time.
It's how many times you said that?
They were pushed by West Coast. Pushed by West Coast to the point where they were like, oh, God, are we going to lose this?
I know. Well, twice this season pushed by West Coast.
Exactly. So they really need to just go, hang on.
Yeah.
We can take care of Geelong. If they do so, they're legit, and away we go. Gold Coast and how they react to the Pies fans, Stats Boy.
There's going to be a lot of loud Pies fans at People's First. Oh, it's going to be chaos. So there'll be the Collingwood chant going around. If they can have a lead halfway through the fourth quarter and just shut down that Collingwood noise, then they can win.
And I think the big one that I'm looking on Friday night for the Ds, are we seeing anything from the Ds? Or if they don't give us anything, their season's cooked.
They're done. Yeah.
Like, you can just pack it up.
I think it is done already, yeah.
No Petrarca, no Ds, question mark. And if they don't show up against Brisbane, which is a tough one at the best of times, at the Gabba, when they've sort of reasserted themselves, watch out. This could be a bloodbath.
Yep.
The thing is, Brisbane's midfield mix, look, this is one of those things, right? It's really clicked. It's been really good. The offense has been fantastic. They bring Will Ashcroft back. It's one of those things, it's like addition, awesome, but we're all clicking.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, is this suddenly too many mouths to feed?
Because Ashcroft, he actually did pretty well when he was playing forward. He's kicked a couple of goals last year.
So they might start him forward?
They'll start him forward, I reckon, but yeah, it's just a bit funny because their forward line's firing. You don't really want to mess with that too much.
Named on the bench, but I think they'll be fine because they're that good and the Ds are in that much turmoil that they should be right. But just keep an eye on it. I just want to know about this Brisbane vibe about can they get back to the Gabatoir, of course. Should they just absolutely put Melbourne to the sword? But really, that midfield mix, does it alleviate some of the pressure on Neil and Dunkley to do everything?
Yep.
Zorko on halfback, etc. Ashcroft, a little bit extra skill here. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what happens.
Nice.
Excellent. Supercoach, tips, vibes, thoughts, stats, man.
Let's go.
What are you feeling?
Everyone's getting Rosé this week. I'm still, I don't know. I know he's very cheap. What is he? 410,000 I wrote down. Yep. Very, very cheap for a guy of his caliber. But is his hamstring just going to randomly just give way in the next couple of weeks?
Jeez.
Is he going to be as consistent as Butters? I'm not sure. So I'm not bringing him in just yet. But I think a lot of people are. 11,000 people have traded him into break even of 52. He'll easily clear his break even. So this is probably the week to get him because he went down in price last week. He's going to go back up this week. But I'm not fully convinced with him yet. Are you bringing him in? I feel like you might be. Most people are. But
was thinking a straight swap of Clary to Rosie.
Yeah. I'd do that if I had
but my big priority is just to bring in Rankin
as
my F6. Well, my final forward that I'm bringing in. So
nice.
Other ones that people are doing is the Charlie Kerno in, which is smart.
Yes. I
it was awesome.
Awesome
last week against the Cats.
Mm-hmm.
Now playing a Richmond team that's giving up the second most scores, second highest score per game in the AFL.
Yeah. He feasts against the bottom four
crushing
teams.
it. And Ari Schoenmaker is another big one as a defensive rookie playing his second game, I think, this week.
Yep.
Now that he's been named, I feel pretty good about that.
36 break even, which is awesome.
And Billy Dowling, same sort of vibe, into his second game as well now. This is his third game, rather, so he's on the bubble, Billy Dowling.
Yep.
Minus 46 break even. Against GWS, interested to see how he goes, but it's probably not a bad
be right
rookie if you need to get someone on there. Kynan Brown being dropped really.
Yeah. I still got Krugs. Hopefully he fires up.
Kruger is been named as well, which is very cool.
He's a big forward, so that's going to be tough.
Your VC, what are you doing? Captaincy vibes, what do you reckon?
I was going Gorn because I think he can still go well against any team. Just he's an absolute
Even
freak.
the big O?
Even the big up. He's not that good. Yeah.
In this economy?
In
2024?
Yeah. In this economy, I'm going the big Gornicus as my vice, and then I'm going to captain Nick Dacos. I think he's going to go really well against Gold Coast. I think he has a really good average.
Bruise-free footy against
He's projected is 144 against Gold Coast. Bruise-free footy, as we said. Away, that's the only thing I'm worried about. Do they lock him down at home?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm going to go Zorko with the VC on Friday night.
Ooh.
Projected with 128.
Actually, I didn't even think about it. I just don't want to do Zorko ever again. That was a month ago. He got 66 when I vice captained him.
My captaincy will probably might go to Errol.
Ooh.
Projecting a 139 against the Dockers at the SCG.
I like that.
If you've got Grundy, I'd just probably chuck the C on Grundy. Right?
I might do vice captain Grundy. Yeah.
Not a bad one. I unfortunately do not have Grundy. So
unlucky.
Grundy, a great one. In terms of the other projected scores out there, if you think about, I don't know, like the other sort of
Sheasel against the Dogs. Sheasel at Marvel is always a decent one.
Flanders is the highest projected score for this for the round at home.
148.
148 against the Pies.
Yep.
Errol at 139 is very good. Grundy at 132. Trelaw 132. Rowan Marshall.
That's not a bad shout actually.
Against the Power.
Yeah.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah.
And Bond 127 against North.
He could get.
But if he's carrying an injury.
Yeah. But he said that the other week.
Yeah, he just ripped off 1 million points.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Good stuff. All right. Check out all the official SuperCoach stuff for all the official SuperCoach gear.
Yes.
That'll do us for AFL Today for this week, though, Stats Boy.
What a show. That was a big show.
I only talked for 87 hours today. That's brutal.
Yeah, you need to get to bed.
I really do. 87 tins and away we go. But thank you for jumping on, Stats Man.
Thank you.
We will have Leo back as well next week, which will be fun.
Oh, nice.
For the Thursday shows. But we will be back on Sunday night for the round 16 wrap show, which will be very good. So remember to smash a like across all the socials to see us doing lots of fun stuff. The guys are taping some fun shorts today, so get around at Facey, IG, X, TikTok, YouTube, of course. And subscribe, star, and like all of our shows on your podcast app. What is it? The AFL Today Show, of course. This one, Cricket Today Podcast, Football Today Podcast, a cracking NBA Australia. Just tiring, absolutely tiring after a massive NBA draft. And, of course, hold all tickets for a bit of GG action. Get around them all. Like, I don't know. What do you reckon? Errol Goulden getting around a haircut.
Oh, okay. Why not?
He's got a good one.
He has got a good one.
I don't mind his hair. All right, that's it. We'll catch you on Sunday night for the wrap show of round 16 for more AFL Today. Until then, look after yourselves and remember, footy's back. If you like this show, make sure you check out all the other shows on the Sports Today Network, from the AFL Today Show to the Cricket Today Podcast, the Football Today Podcast, as well as NBA Australia and NFL Australia. With Sports Today, your sporting needs have never been easier to cover.